It has just been announced that the world of Irish organised crime is about to be dealt a huge blow. One that could be the beginning of the end for the big drug cartels. Welcome back to Crime Chronicles. Stay tuned to find out how Irish investigators are getting ready to target hundreds and hundreds of known criminals to stop large-scale organised crime in its tracks. In recent decades, there has been an explosion of organised crime gangs in Ireland. And the largest of these include drug trafficking gangs, such as the Kinahan cartel, burglary mobs terrorizing rural communities, and crooks running money laundering networks. No matter how much effort police have put into ridding the streets of these gangs, they have only continued to flourish. Until now. The Criminal Assets Bureau, or CAB, is an independent body that was established in 1996 to carry out investigations into the suspected proceeds of criminal conduct. Until now, the CAB has been used in a targeted fashion to go after high-profile organised crime figures. Authorities have now implemented a new strategy by casting their net far and wide and using the CAB powers to target huge numbers of criminals. Latest stats show that up until the end of 2023, CAB investigators had a whopping 1,448 people in their sights. If that news wasn't bad enough for the criminal community, it's also been announced that this figure is set to rise in 2024, with the agency's admission group holding a meeting every week to identify new targets. The CAB's Chief Bureau Officer, Detective Chief Superintendent Michael Gubbins, vowed to continue to strip Ireland's criminals of their wealth in 2024. He said, "It's important to remember that behind all the assets that we seize are death, destruction, criminality, addiction, and victims." He went on to say, "The wealth that criminals display is like their uniform, but no one is untouchable. We are seeing more cases of those engaged in criminality displaying their wealth on social media platforms, and this is something we continue to monitor. When we seize assets that are visible forms of greed, we are showing the communities that these individuals are not above the law." Our message in 2024 remains the same. We will continue to deny and deprive criminals of their criminally acquired assets and wealth. And the senior officer said the Bureau wants to make an impact at the local level. He said, "We will identify targets countrywide and continue to maximize the impact the Bureau makes at a community level, particularly on those criminal groupings and individuals causing distress in local communities. We will also continue to target the large and well-resourced organised crime groups in our society, and also anyone who benefits from the proceeds of crime." In 2023, the CAB sold 12 properties worth €2.7 million, and another 12 are already due to be sold this year. Cash from the sales is returned to the government. The properties sold by CAB in 2023 were based in Dundalk, Dublin, Wexford, Monaghan, Limerick, and Dunboyne. One of the prime properties was the former HQ of Kinahan gangster Liam Byrne in Crumlin's Rally Square, which fetched around €300,000. A property at Coldwater Lakes in Saggart, which was effectively owned by Daniel Kinahan after it was given to him by Jim Mansfield Jr., is also set to be sold later this year. Since 2016, the CAB has targeted 8 individuals directly connected to Daniel Kinahan's mob in what is known as Operation Decimal. One of the targets was a Chinese businessman who was allowing members of the Kinahan gang to launder cash through his restaurants in return for a percentage. Another of the main Kinahan players targeted in 2023 was Ross Browning, who lost 3 houses worth €1.4 million. In a judgment against the Kinahan cartel's principal representative in Ireland, the High Court ruled that Browning has associations with Daniel Kinahan and other senior members of the Kinahan organised crime gang and the Burn Gang. Of the 1,448 people under investigation, 289 are based in the Dublin Metropolitan Region West, at the centre of a deadly feud between 2 rival factions. The next highest number of targets is in the DMR South, with 150 identified, followed by 107 in Limerick, 98 in the DMR North, and 92 in Westmeath and Meath. Other figures show that 79 targets have been identified in Roscommon, Longford, 54 in Clare and Tipperary, and 37 in Galway. The CAB also has 25 targets in Donegal, 10 in Sligo, and 8 in Cork West. The least number of targets are in Mayo, with 2 identified. As part of their mission to strip criminals of their ill-gotten gains, the CAB also has over 600 asset profilers working around the country. Alongside the asset profilers who gather intelligence on criminals are good citizen reports that the CAB receives. This works by members of the community who remain anonymous and don't have to attend court, providing information on suspected criminals flaunting their wealth. In 2023, the CAB received 259 good citizen reports from concerned members of the public. Detective Chief Superintendent Gubbins added, "Our divisional asset profilers are located throughout the country, and they are our eyes and ears on the ground. They will engage with us regularly and are aware of criminals in their locality." In further bad news for criminals, it was announced that the CAB hopes to train more asset profilers. They will tell the CAB of the criminality that potential targets are engaged in, along with the nature of their assets and their lifestyle. The CAB mainly targets assets such as homes, cars, jewellery, and designer goods. But they have also vowed to target criminals who spend their money on cosmetic surgery and foreign holidays. If the CAB establishes criminals have used ill-gotten gains for foreign trips or plastic surgery, they can be hit with a revenue bill. Following the success of the latest CAB online auction, which raised over €400,000 through the sale of high-end goods, another auction will be held later this year. CAB officers work closely with Revenue, Customs, the Departments of Justice and Social Protection, other Garda units, and foreign police forces. Detective Chief Superintendent Gubbins added, "It's all about teamwork, and we have a great working relationship with all of our partners." In 2024, it seems that if you are making money from crime in Ireland, you'd be a fool to flash the cash. In the words of the CAB, no one is untouchable. Thank you for joining us again today on Crime Chronicles. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel with your friends.